The Seven of Coins. Now, this is one of those tarot cards which really just speaks for itself. It's self evident, isn't it? But let's talk for a little bit about the implications of the meaning of this and how you talk about this with a client, with a querent. Sevens. Sevens are often not a nice number in tarot, actually. And here we are. We look at the chap here. He's leaning on a rake. He's very definitely not working. Yeah. So he's not able to access the coins that are there. A surprising number of readings will be about work and money. It's quite a frequently asked question is, am I going to get made redundant? It's something that worries people. You can probably imagine this. You may even have been in this situation yourself. You're working for a company, it's being reorganized, perhaps moving to a different building. There are rumours flying around on the grapevine. Uh, rumours. There's lots of rumours, but very little real knowledge flying around. Yeah. And, it's very, very worrying. It's scary, isn't it? When you're faced with the possibility of being made redundant if you are organised out of your job. But on the other hand, some people are hoping they're going to get made redundant. Of course, what they're hoping for is that they will they will get a nice redundancy payout. But this goes a little bit with the card of the Tower. Life, something about life collapsing, being made redundant, or possibly being fired from a job. That's a great example of the Tower, because sometimes it is just fate, the universe, whatever, however you want to phrase it, saying you need to get going on your own life path. You've been in this job too long. Come on. It's time for change. The Tower collapses. Goes a little bit with the devil, actually. We all do this. We all stick with the devil we know. You stick out a job because it's easy. You can do it. But all it does is bring in money. Yeah. And it's time to get going. And sometimes you get that little push along the road that takes you out of your own personal tower towards perhaps judgment, making a new start, perhaps the magician, learning new skills, or using the skills that you have. That it is time for change. Yeah, they're all the positive aspects, perhaps, of not working for a little bit. Of course, not working for a little bit. Of course, it as the chap here, it does mean having to live on less money. We've all been in that situation, haven't we? Having to live on less money, but sometimes you can develop a new skill set because of that. But the positive side of this is always the message of tarot is always the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is always changing. So if you're at the top of the wheel, put some money aside for a rainy day. Always be aware that life changes and the wheel is always turning. That drawing positives out of being out of work, being short of money, because there are positives, aren't there? Kind of, the chap here is having a rest, having a bit of breather from which, as he has a rake here, does very definite hard work, I think. Yeah. Makes sense. So this isn't in and of itself a negative card, but if somebody is asking, am I going to get reorganized out of my job? But perhaps the person who's asking for a reading, perhaps your client, your querent, is out of work, or perhaps doesn't have enough work at the moment, and they're asking if there is the good news coming. In which case you really hope you have something like the Page of Coins, Page of Wands there in the future. It's tempting to kind of make things up, and it's tempting to tell people what they would like to hear, but as a tarot reader, as tarot readers, we accept what a tarot reading is telling us. So if this is in the future bit of someone's reading, it can be a little bit tricky to say, to brace yourself for perhaps having a pause from work. That perhaps a pause from work is a little bit like the Hanged Man. Time to maybe rest, time to do all those things that you don't normally have time to do. Yeah. Always find a positive. That fortune's wheel always turns. So there's always time to learn a new skill set, and of course, a lot of us need a second job. A lot of us need another skill that we can draw on in challenging times. So, hope this video has been of interest to you and useful to you, perhaps in your future readings. Do subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again soon.